This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Win for All.
Welcome inside Okinawa Arena. It's game day number 4. We've got Venezuela going toe-to-toe with Cape Verde here and Group F play. I'm Despina Barton alongside FIBA Hall of Famer Andrew Gaze. These two teams are looking for their first victory of the tournament, and it's a must-win to have an opportunity to advance onto the second round.
That's right, and Cape Verde, they are newcomers to the competition, and they found it going tough in their first game, as opposed to Venezuela, who got a lot more experience. They're one of the oldest teams in the competition as far as their personnel are concerned, and they're going to need that tonight, because this Cape Verde team, they play with a lot of emotion. If they get on a roll, it's going to present some defensive challenges to Venezuela, and in particular, how they guard the big man, Walter Tavares. He's huge, 221 centimeters tall, and when you look at this Venezuela team, they don't have similar depth in that department in order to try and guard him. Now, there's the man I've been talking about. He's a star in European basketball. He's got NBA experience, and just coming off a championship win also with Real Madrid, so he's playing at a very high level, and he has to carry a heavy load, and the going was tough for him in the first contest with only 6 points. He did have the 12 rebounds against Georgia, but they're going to need him a lot more on the offensive end if they're going to cause an upset.
And for Venezuela, we saw them step out on game day number 1 against Slovenia. It was a pretty tight contest, and we saw a spectacular shooting performance in their first quarter. This squad put up 9 made three-pointers, and they were the only team in the tournament that is happening in here, Jakarta and Manila, that had more made three-pointers than field goals.
Well, they had 9, and 9 of them came in the first quarter. As you mentioned, it was outrageous shooting, and they really took it up to Slovenia, and Luka Doncic needed to be at his very best. Now, eventually they got on top of Venezuela. Slovenia wore them down, and it took Luka Doncic with 37 points to do it. So this is a team that plays with a lot of emotion, and that man on your screen there, Soho, he led the scoring with 16 points. Michael Carrera, he's another one that's got European and Australia, played in the NBL for the Cairns Taipans, and it's a team that played really well but still came up short by a considerable margin against Slovenia.
Fernando Duro leading the way for Venezuela. A look at the slate of games for today. Venezuela, Cape Verde on the court right now, and then Georgia, Slovenia. The evening dessert treat for everybody at home. They need a victory to stay in the conversation. The loser will move away and go towards the classification games. The winner will have to get some luck and continue to win out. Before we move forward, though, here we're going to start with the national anthems. for the home team, Venezuela.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Venezuela.
These two teams meeting for the very first time in senior event competition on the international level. The two coaches meeting here at midcourt, exchanging a friendly gift, a token from their nation. And these two are paired up with Slovenia and Georgia in Group F. We're in Okinawa, Japan, and for you, Andrew, as you've seen these two teams play already, what stands out to you and what will be an X factor tonight?
Well, what stood out in that first game of Venezuela was the lights-out shooting. It was spectacular. And have a look at our officials for this one here, Despina.
Yep, these three will be tasked with calling a clean game, and the crew chief there is Adamir Zerapoch from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And you can imagine this one's going to be chippy, right? A lot on the line.
Well, it is. It's played at a high intensity, you suspect, because it's you can't move on. The loser of this has no chance of moving on, and that's going to extract the absolute very best as we take a look at the starters for Venezuela, at Cape Verde. And that man at the end there, it says Eddie, and it's Walter Eddie Tavares. He's the star, and he's going to be the one that Venezuela are going to be focusing in on. It's the points where he came up short, the 12 rebounds, and the reason he struggled is that every single time he touched the ball, there was a double team, sometimes a triple team, and 2 of 7's not good shooting, but 7 field goal attempts is not enough. They got to find a way to get him a few more touches.
He's hoping that Kennedy Menches here can help facilitate, get him more touches. The 33-year-old had 11 points off the bench in game day 1 for Cape Verde. He will start there again. Coach Travado here liking the way that he's been coming off and playing some valuable minutes. This is a group that making their first ever World Cup appearance. There's jitters, right? You don't know what's going on.
And it's a great story, though, Cape Verde, as we take a look at Venezuela as well with their starters. And they've got a lot of talent, and a lot's going to be asked of Nestor Colmenares. He's going to have that responsibility, I think, to start with, at the very least, of guarding Walter Tavares, and how he is able to deny him those catches on the low box is going to be a big part of it. And this man here, he can shoot the ball.
Yes, Hessler Gient gets the start here in game number 2 after hitting 12 points and dishing out 6 assists versus Slovenia. He was a boost for the Venezuelans.
It is, and that man on your screen there, Gali Soho, he lit it up, 16 points. A lot of them coming, I think 12 came in the first half, 4 of 7 from the three-point line, where they were spectacular, a couple of assists, but he's bouncy as well. He can do it from the three-point line, but around the rim, the penetration, and he can finish strong at the rim.
And you're looking at Fernando Duro. He's in his 7th year leading Venezuela. His personal second trip to Japan. He was here as the head coach for Argentina in 2001. Venezuela making their 5th World Cup appearance. Their best finish was in 1990. They placed 11th. And they're stringing together 2 straight trips. You saw them in China 4 years ago.
And they got through in the first round, and they ended up finishing 14th of the 32 teams for their best result. So they are very, very capable. And if Cape Verde are going to cause them an upset, they need to shoot the ball a whole lot better, in particular from the three-point line.
Just 12% on game day 1.
3 of 26. 3 of 20 is not going to get it done. And they need to do that, one, to help the scoreboard ticking over, but also to spread the defense. If you're going to get the big fella Walter Tavares involved, knock down some threes, spread the floor, and give him some space down low as well.
We know that Venezuela had no trouble shooting from downtown. 9 made three-pointers in the first quarter, and they had a total of 16 made against Slovenia. Here's some final remarks from Emmanuel Truvada in the Cape Verde huddle.
Drive para ali, William. Ei, e sai para cima. Depois temos o balanço garantido. A nossa arma é a defesa. A nossa alerta é a comunicação. Só juntos.
Well, this is a remarkable story. When you think 560,000 is the population of Cape Verde, that is extraordinary when you playing one of the most participated sports in the world, and you come from a tiny nation like Cape Verde, and here they are getting to compete in a world championship. It's a World Cup. It's a great story and making history for them.
Cape Verde is a Western African nation near Senegal. And like you said, Andrew, they're making their first ever World Cup appearance. A lot of emotions. They believe that they deserve to be here. Spent 2 weeks training at the Boston Celtics facility, a huge Cape Verde population in Boston in the United States. And they've had an uphill battle to get here, nearly missing the 2017 Afro-Basket tournament. Had some issues and non-support from the federation that was in place at that time. So they had to go on the road. They fought, they clawed, they believed in themselves, and look at them now.
No, it is another great story. And Haisler Guillen, he was the one that, the architect for a lot of what they do when he's running the point guard spot, so he's another important one.
And Venezuela, undersized, gets the first possession. Chorio, wing shots a miss. And a step out of bounds by Gratterall, who was pretty shifty in the circle to snag that jump ball over Tavares. Venezuela picking him up full court.
Gratterall gets the first opportunity to see what he can do against Tavares.
Curl shot, Gompsch, won't go down. So Hessler Guillen running the point for Venezuela. The feed to Colmenares, one extra pass out. Gratterall waiting for it, top of the key, a miss. And Lima telling his team, hey, slow down, we got this. A little bit of early game feeling out. Tavares working off the screen. No roll, they'll get the ball to Gompsch. Another take. This one in. Wanted to get a little closer there. Coupled with the takeaway, and Cape Verde pushing down court. Gompsch backing down his man. Takes Gante back to the rack.
Well, already early days, a very small sample size, but I think we get a look at Cape Verde and how they want to try and control the tempo. They want a half-court game, slow it down, get it through some hands, go side to side. On the flip side, you've got Venezuela. They're coming up and first available opportunity, prepared to let it fly. And Venezuela have shown in that game against Verde, they got some really good half-court sets where they get it through some hands, and it was only when they got a little fatigued and they started to take shortcuts that the lead got away from them, eventually losing that one by 15. So it was a really credible performance by Venezuela, and they just don't want to think that they can come out here and outrun Cape Verde.
1 for 2. The ball tracked down by Tavares, and Cape Verde getting another opportunity. Almeida spinning through traffic, extra pass, Gomsh. A miss. And this one slipping out of the hand. Colmenares feeding it up. Soho fading away. We'll get to shoot two.
Well, there's another example of what I was talking about. This time it was Soho. He drew the foul and he's earned his way to the free throw line, but that is a no-pass offense, just coming down in heaps of traffic and trying to make something really out of nothing as they just push the tempo.
So there, Garley Soho, the 23-year-old, who put up 16 points against Slovenia, misses the first free throw.
He plays in the Venezuela league in that league. Only a so-so, 66% from the free throw line. You expect a little bit better from Garley Soho.
So William Tavares bringing the ball up for Cape Verde.
Zone defense already.
Corner feed, Patrick Lima, baseline, miss. Gratterall, quick outlet here for Guillen. An extra pass, dribble, baseline take, floater, no good. And the guys want to run today. Feed down low, taken away, Soho there. Churio. Colmenares going at the big guy. Just the intimidation factor. Tavares on the other end in transition.
Yeah, this is a really poor start by Venezuela. They're 0 of 4 from the field. And just 2 nights ago, they started the game 9 of 10 from the field.
And sent back 3. That one's deep, won't roll in.
Seen very little offense from Venezuela.
Almeida driving, drawing 3. It's a jump ball. It will stay here. You gotta wonder too, I know this is such an emotional, mental game, Andrew. You knew you were opening up against Slovenia. A chance to knock off a favorite, right? How do you manage that hypeness, that emotional toll?
Well, they were super pumped and really excited, and they should be just as excited here. But the difference is, early on in that game, they were hitting shots. They make their first couple. That confidence, it permeates throughout the team. It's infectious, and they really came out of the block strong. And it's how they bounce back now. They've had a slow start in this one.
Trying a little street ball tactics here as Almeida trying to throw it off Churio.
Even Almeida, the 5-second count. You got 5 seconds to inbound the pass. It was probably at 4, so he thought, well, I need to try and get another go at it. So he just threw it at the legs of his opponent to try and get the ball back, and it's proved out to be successful. A little bit of niggle going on out on the floor.
I can easily handle this. Okay, I can easily handle this. We're gonna play use the body, not the hands. Okay?
Gratterol there, and doing what he has to do. Just try and use his physicality to keep Tavares off the low block.
Williams Vosh behind the screen. He'll hit for 3. Cape Verde out to an 8-1 lead. Venezuela, this one will be their first field goal to go down. Garly Soho. Lima changing gears. Gomes makes his man miss.
Great.
And then makes him pay.
3 of 26 the other night. They're not as bad a shooting three-point team as that stat would indicate, and we've seen it here in the first quarter. Already knocked down a couple.
Colmenares dishes back out. Chorio will take the shot, and that's a nice coupling effect for Venezuela.
It is. Chorio this time from deep. A whole lot of sophistication about the way either team's playing right now.
Gomes with a size advantage here. He'll keep heading towards the block. Spin, finish, no. Guillet off the curl. Free throw line, gets it for 2.
Yeah, just get into his spot. Drives straight to the free throw line, nothing but cotton.
And Almeida here in Cape Verde taking a note out of Venezuela's playbook, just coming right through and slinging it up.
And I don't like it for Cape Verde. They just do not have the same depth of talent of any team in the competition. And if you're going to make it an athletic contest, you're going to lose that. If you're just going to run up and down and get as many shots up as you can, the more shots that they're going to provide for Venezuela, the tougher it is going to be for them. So they have to be really careful about tempo control. Sure, if something in that first 6 to 8 seconds of the shot clock's there wide open, go ahead and take it. But if not, don't just settle for the early 3.
Tavash, mid-range, misses. We're running with Guillet and Venezuela. Calling, Colmenares. Dahosa pulling things out. Trying to work off the screen. High-low denied. Open look, Almeida, corner shot. Will get the 3.
Colmenares has just put his hand up. He wants to come out of the game.
And a foul here going against Venezuela and Lima. So here comes that substitution.
Good hands by Gratterol, just not able to recover in time. The lucky bounce goes the way of Venezuela. And they make the most of it. Nice hit there by Almeida. Jordan Zamora comes on. He's the one that hit that 3/4 length buzzer beater at the half in game 1.
Dubion, fadeaway mid-range, no. Lima back to Tavares. Clear size advantage, the kick back out to Dahosa. Hosa lets it fly. Gratterol tracks it, gives it to the other team, Dahosa. Tavares. Almeida. Everybody having a hand on that one for Cape Verde.
Wow. Venezuela, they've called a timeout. They need to have a chat about it. And some of the chat's got to focus on what you're going to do on the boards. Got to box out. Nice kick out pass by Tavares. And already now 4 of 7 from the three-point line. This is a team with 3 of 26 just a couple of nights ago, bouncing back nicely.
Macho, toda la pelota, todos los balones sueltos, todos quedaron para él. No se vaya nadie. Había 3 recién en el rebote, todos blancos. Eran todos blancos. ¡Vamos! Agarra el rebote, descarga el triple. No de movimiento. Ataque, pulgar ahí.
All right, so Cape Verde led by as many as 9 points. They're at that mark again here with 3:26 to play in the first quarter. It's do or go home essentially here in this contest.
Well, they do play it out in the classifications, but it's win or and continue the journey of the ultimate goal of winning a medal, or you're relegated to the classification, which is important for someone like Cape Verde. If you're the end of this tournament, you're the top-ranked team coming out of Africa, you're going to qualify for the Olympics. So it's not just about winning a medal, it's also, they use these World Cups as part of the qualification process for the Olympic Games.
Carrera kicks it. Manarin will split. Take away. Coher. Feet up, waiting for it. Almeida draws 2 on his back. Churio there, the first one to help pick him up.
Well, what Venezuela have decided to do is they've come out with a really small lineup with their main 2 bigs having a spell at the same time in Almenarez and Gratterol. So sometimes you do this when you've got the big fella out. Tavage, you put him in some on-ball screens and try and stretch him, bring him out from the basket as much as you possibly can, because right now he can just sit around the rim and just be a rim protector. Got to try and lift him, get him to play a lot higher out of the paint.
4 points for Almeida. He's got a brother on the team too, as Kubian pulls up the 3, uncontested. Anderson Coher driving left, 2-hand, no good. Zamora gives it up, Matarin. That one's a foul. He'll get to try his hand from the free throw line.
Kubian with the closeout, just taking away the landing space. I believe that's what the call was. It wasn't a whole bunch of contact for Matarin, but just when you got to give the shooter space to land, and that wasn't there. So he draws the foul. Rebounding is a huge issue, or was a huge issue in game 1 for Venezuela. It's not terrible. Trailing that category 9-7 in this one, but they got smashed on the boards, 39-23 against Slovenia. And with the lineup that they see on the floor here, you can see why they don't have those flat-out big guys that can just dominate the glass. Right now, they're going to be leaning on number 14.
Miguel
Ruiz.
As Matarin hit 2 for 3, cuts the lead to 5. Coher driving baseline.
Wow.
2-hand slam this time.
Oh. Talk about some bounce. Kubian with his head up around the rim on that 2-hand dunk.
A whistle away from the ball here. The 2 big guys.
That's just explosion. Kubian in here sees the baseline. Look how high he gets. That is thrown down with a high degree of authority. Nice.
Carrera on the other end. This one blocked. Gomes there.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. This time it's the big fella. Gomes, who just in the paint, last line of defense, and got to try and earlier on it was Walter Tavage, but somehow or other they got to get these bigs away from the basket. That's one way to do it.
Zamora feels good for him. He's got 3.
And that's Zamora stepping out. Gomes was his man, drew him out from the basket.
Almeida, top of the key, lefty gets it too, an eye for an eye.
And it's a 2, it's a nice shot. Coach probably not happy. Had a toe, barely a toe on the 3-point line. Robbed Cape Verde of a point. Only the 2.
Ball takeaway here. Tavares running, lays it in. William Tavares, coast to coast. And we have a timeout here on
No, I don't think it was a timeout.
It's a review, it's not timeout.
It's a review.
And we're going to go ahead and listen in here as the official here, Adamir Zerapoch, will
Okay,
review.
we are going to review 2 3-points, okay?
So whether it was a 2 or a 3, that's what they're reviewing.
Okay, go back. Touch the line. 2 points stay. 2 points stay, okay? Okay.
I got a good eye. I told you it's just barely on it. And they're the ones the coaches hate.
2 points.
Just that, what is it, a centimetre back, and instead of a 2, that's a 3.
Andrew, I have to commend you for your vision and your eyesight. You knew that from, 50 feet away.
Well, there's just a little instinct for it, but the eyes aren't as sharp as they once were. But maybe got a little lucky on that one.
So the scoreboard stands.
It's been impressive by Cape Verde. Not just the offense, the defense.
Now you gotta worry because this guy's hitting back-to-back 3s. Jordan Zamora with 6 points.
They made the change too. They put Gomes. They took him off Zamora. Concerned about the 3 ball, but Zamora still able to knock it down.
Coher, extra pass nearly knocked away. Intended for Kevin Gomes. Almeida, the younger brother, turn, shoot, baseline, mid-range off. We're running. Maturin, Coher, Kubion, excuse me, for the lay-in. .30 seconds to play here in the first. Lead cut to 3. Cape Verde led by as many as 9. There's Coher. And a foul under the basket going against Cape Verde. And Kevin Gomes upset.
Yep, and it's 2 possessions in a row now. They've got some reward from crashing the boards. Got that easy transition basket, and on the last one, just picked up the foul on Kevin Gomes. So Ruiz, they're in the bonus. So
after this timeout here, we'll see
Ruiz go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
Entre vocês podem trocar. Estamos a levar 3 pontos constantemente. Porquê? Porquê que estamos a levar 3 pontos? Estamos distraídos, estamos a correr por dentro, estamos a ficar no bloqueio. O homem que estiver aqui, dá uma mão em cima. Não podemos estar a levar triplos desta forma. Temos que entender.
Man of the hour, Jordan Zamora, showing his range and how potent he is on both sides of the court. Both shots he's taken beyond the arc, he's made.
Well, he is, and that's a bigger guy that can stretch the floor. They're invaluable with the way the game's played these days, where it's 3 or get to the paint. He had Gomsh on, the bigger Gomsh on him earlier. He hit that one in the corner. They make the change, but they still go back to Zamora on that pin down, curls off it and knocks down the 3 ball. So some real questions being asked now with what Zamora's bringing to the table.
So Miguel Ruiz makes the first. 2 for 2, 1-point game. Even Almeida, the captain, with the ball for Cape Verde. Extra feed, a miss by the big guy. A slow fall to the ground, and every one of his teammates comes to grab him.
It's Michael Carrera. He's complaining, not because right now you can't see it on your screen, but Michael Carrera is upset because he's saying he's not questioning the foul. He doesn't believe it was on him though. Believes it was on his teammate in Ruiz, I believe it was. Might have just been trying to con the official.
Takeaway here, Venezuela. Skipping out, Zamora. He'll create his own, fade away. No, nothing in time. A miss from beyond the arc for Zamora will end the first quarter. It's Cape Verde up by 1, 24-23.
Solid start by Cape Verde and got out to an 8-point lead. And Venezuela called that timeout, and since then you saw the adjustment on the defensive end, able to cause some problems. Venezuela still having some issues on the board, so we take a look at the shooting numbers. 44% in total for Venezuela, 43% for Cape Verde, and very little in it. But Cape Verde came out of the blocks. It was a sluggish start by Venezuela. They made some changes despite their really good start against Slovenia. Made some changes to their starting lineup. No Michael Carrera, and I'm not sure why you would do that, given what we saw. Soho came out, knocked down that long 2. There's another example of those shots that you don't want to see. Cheerio comes in and knocked it down. So some good shooting by both these teams from the 3-point line. It was Venezuela 4 of 8. In fact, both teams identical. 4 of 8, 50% from the 3-point line, and that is really good shooting by both these teams. See Zamora, that was that play I was talking about off that little pin down screen, and after he just made one, he had that confidence to let it fly and was able to knock it down.
And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and make sure you scan the QR code on the screen. You want to make sure you have that Courtside 1891 app. Stream, schedules, scores, all the commentary from Andrew Gaze your little heart can desire.
Well, I don't know whether you need all that, but you need, if you're a Hoops fan, you'd be absolutely crazy not to download the app, keep up to date. 32 teams in this competition, a lot of news been going around. And how's about some of the upsets we've seen?
You're telling me. We saw last night Japan send Finland packing pretty much, right? Before that, Australia. In
the game, I think it's been the game of the tournament so far. I know that Latvia would have something to say about that. Latvia with another upset over France. France, ta-da!
How the mighty have fallen. So start of the second quarter. We're in Okinawa, Japan. Despina Barton alongside Andrew Gaze, and an early whistle against Venezuela.
Ruiz, I think it was, the intent is good. You're trying to help your team out with those screens and get them free, but you've got to be stationary in that time. Call for a moving screen.
Gomes. And you got to think they're wanting to get the big guy some touches here. Tavares doing so much work down on the block.
Well, he gets a call for a foul. And Tavares is not renowned as a scorer. That's instinctively, that doesn't come. He's a facilitator, he's a rebounder, he's a rim protector. He does a whole bunch of things, but playing for Real Madrid, it's not like he's lighting up the scores on a night-in, night-out basis. But with this team, in this situation, playing through it, getting some touches on the box, even if he's not scoring it, he's really good at distributing the ball, can pass over the shorter defenders. So playing through him a little bit more might help.
The defense ratcheting up here for Cape Verde. Ruiz, a miss. Tavares cleans it up the board. And William Tavares behind the screen. It's off. No relation between those two for Cape Verde. Streaking, Maturin. How about one dribble to the left? Stroke can't go. The feet up, Lima.
Travel. Fortunately for Venezuela, and in particular, Calmanares, he got caught napping, wasn't watching the ball. The three-quarter length pass almost brought him undone. And defensive transition is important for both these teams. A little bit more important for Cape Verde and the way we've seen it, the way they like to run the floor, but also for Venezuela, got to get back and make sure you've got vision on the ball.
Kubian with the ball. He missed the 2019 World Cup due to an injury, so he's playing out his dream here with Venezuela. Zamora can keep it alive. Third three-pointer, 9 points for Zamora.
And all of 9 of them coming from the three-point line. He's 3 of 4. That's 75% from the three-point line.
If anybody didn't do their scout on him after his performance against Slovenia, it's your own fault, right?
Well, these teams would have scouted each other to an inch of their lives. And one thing having the scout, it's one thing being able, and it's another thing being able to execute the scout.
Kubian. Almeida slows up the roll. Venezuela, after that, made 3, takes the lead.
I like it.
A little ISO game on the block.
3 seconds.
And before the big man can get started, there's a foul.
Ruiz. Miguel Ruiz picks up foul. The veteran coming in, Gregory Vargas.
I'm sure Cape Verde would have just liked the call to go away for the basket to count. Almeida. Ball nearly taken away. Gomes loses it. No, he's got his help from Patrick Lima. Vargas running point now for Venezuela. The 37-year-old, part of 5 players on this Venezuelan squad that was born in 86-87 as the youngster. Soho gets 2. Another takeaway for Venezuela. Soho on that end. Vargas to Soho. Little congestion here. And it's a cough up.
Yeah, this Venezuela team, you mentioned the age. They're averaging 32 and a half years of age is the average. They got 10 players over 30, 9 players over 32. So there's a whole bunch of experience in the 5. Yeah. You see him, Gregory Vargas, he's 37 years of age. He's been to an Olympics. A couple of this is his second World Cup. He's been around a long time, but still got a lot of fire in the belly.
Even Almeida, the captain for Cape Verde. 6 points for him. Regains the lead.
It's almost like Venezuela have seen that, well, hey, they shot 3 of 26. Let's be a little passive on the 3-point line. That's not working. Cape Verde is knocking down the 3 ball and playing some D.
Gomes driving. Soho strips it away.
Have a look at this one going under the screen. You just need more effort. When your tournament's on the line, Soho's got to be a lot more aggressive. Comes out and almost just conceding the 3 ball for Almeida. And Almeida he's been a handful. With the 6 points, 2 of 5. 2 of 4 from threes, 3 boards. He's been active. Soho's got to match that intensity.
Lima asking to clear out. Gomes from the corner. Soho looking down court for Venezuela. Here comes the screen, Vargas. That was intended for Soho. The intention here to get the ball to the youngster.
Neither team really outside of the start when Verde got that run has been able to establish any sort of significant advantage. Real even contest so far.
Colmenares with a hook. And 2 more for Venezuela, and we're trading the lead back and forth. Gomes, baseline take. We saw him do that earlier. Gratterall slowing him down.
Yeah, you need some weak side help, but if that's the type of defense you're going to play on the perimeter, that was just a straight line drive, baseline. You've got to square him up and be a bit more competitive in that one-on-one situation, because that was a real aggressive drive.
Gomes makes the first. He has 7 points. Midway through the second quarter, we're knotted up at 30. You're watching Cape Verde, Venezuela Group F play. Both of these teams need a victory to stay in contention and advance potentially to the second round. A loss would force them to the classification round. Venezuela fell to Slovenia on day number 1. The margin 15. And for Cape Verde, they fell to Georgia by 25.
Venezuela ball from the side.
Yent with the ball. Bigger hands there by Cape Verde. Lima elevating.
Had to be a charge.
Have a look. Soho's there a long, long time. Patrick Lima. It's where the Euro step. You're coming in, you see the defense stop, you pivot, you try and step around them. Lima just thought the direct route, get there and put the onus on the official to see if they'd make a call. But that was a pretty easy one. Hardest decision officials have to make in the game of basketball is that, is it a block, is it a charge? And often when you're out there offensively, you know that. So you take the odds, just try and get to the rim and take the odds and see if you can get a break. That's what Patrick Lima did, and it didn't work.
Corner shot there by Kubian.
That's going to be made. It's also off the ball, and Venezuela are going to get this back because it was Michael Carrera on that rebounding contest. Now, look at the rebound. And Carrera just got hooked and pulled to the ground.
And that made basket actually by Pedro Torrio. So here's another shot. Venezuela and Colmenares on the block. Kiss off the glass is good.
That's expensive possession. Foul on the rebound. So we have a 4-point possession for Venezuela.
Gomes aggressive take, miss on the left, covered up by Carrera. Soho, back to Carrera, through the gut, misses.
Verde need to be cautious about just going too much individual with the ball. Earlier on, they were getting side to side, a lot more man movement, but just isolating and trying to get it to the rim and settling for a shot like that. That's, right now, not good offense.
Soho, beautiful take, and it drops in for the 23-year-old.
Alarm bells are ringing right now if you're a Cape Verde fan. And another empty possession and a score for Venezuela, and I suggest we'll see a timeout.
De Hoza off his foot, he'll regain the handle. And Colmenares will pick up his first personal foul.
Number 43, Colmenares.
Coach Emmanuel Trovada, the head coach for Cape Verde.
Number 9, Joel Almeida. Number 10, Hernandez.
A group that led by as many as 9 in the first quarter now find themselves trailing by 5. Mensch on the block. Tries to get it to Gomes, and we're going the other way with Yen. Step through, 3-ball, does his job. Pedro Torrio.
That's that timeout I was talking about. And coming off the turnover, nice kick-out pass. Look at that. Could have perhaps gone in and tried a contested play at the rim, but instead finds the shooter, Torrio. He's good enough to splash another 3. 6 of 12. This is elite shooting by Venezuela from the 3-point line.
Vamos esperar, toda a gente está no space. Vamos ter paciência. Vamos girar a bola. Vamos atacar o cesto. E vamos defender, porra. Defender é que é o problema. Estamos a ser batidos constantemente. Já levam mais de 8 triplos, porra. Não conseguimos ver isso. Quer parar dos 3 pontos que vamos ganhar? Defendam e encostem mais neles. Que é bom. Tu no jogo com a Estónia fizeste uma coisa boa. Estavas a rolar. Estás a parar aqui. Corre para dentro. Corre para dentro.
So Andrew, you're Cape Verde. You're down by 8 now. What do you do?
Well, I think it's what they're doing at the offensive end. Too much dribble. Dribble, ISO ball. Now, you don't mind that if you've gone through the process. You go through your cutting and passing process, getting it through, loosening up the defense. But right now, Venezuela, they've got a lot of good ball pressure, and they're just going up against an established defense when they drive. Get the man movement a little bit more and lose about 50% of the dribbles that we're seeing in the half court.
2.5 to play in the first half. De Rosa with the ball. A lot of dribbling. De Rosa laying with the left, he gets it.
It's a nice finish, but again, really stagnant. Stand around and just let De Rosa do his thing on the middle on ball.
Off the screen, we have a whistle on the floor. Another look at the drive by De Rosa.
Calmanara comes out and shows, but just there's too much gap. He's able to split the screen, and that's crafty. Nice move, really nice move by De Rosa.
So, get in. Surveying here. Feed to the big guy, Colmenares. Go back down on the block. Create. And nothing there. Coher to Mensch. Goes off his fingertips. We're running. Carrera. Put back Soho. The tap in by number 6. He's got 9.
The last few possessions and scores for Venezuela has come up from some self-inflicted wounds by Cape Verde. Quick shot, no offense, no pass offense that last one, and that's a heavy hit. Almade, Zoel comes out and just heavy collision, just trying to stop the transition, which has been some problems. But as I mentioned, you asked the question about Cape Verde, their offenses just look so stagnant. Just relying on the individual skill with the use of the ball rather than some cohesive structure with the cutting action.
And so you're looking at Hissler and on the free throw line. We're in the bonus, that's why he's there. After the collision at midcourt. Gant with 4 points. His team now out in front by 10. Coher. And still a lot of time left on that shot clock.
Again, one pass, whoever gets it just drives it. And it's not working.
Pass here slipping through the hands of Pedro Churio. Turnover for Venezuela.
And that last drive we saw there by Coher, in isolation, it's not too bad, but if that's coming after you've gone through some action, well, okay. But just one pass and a kamikaze drive or a kamikaze shot, and we're only halfway through the shot clock. Still plenty of time left on the shot clock. I think you need to explore options to get easier shots.
And here's another chance for Venezuela. Again. Got 3 to shoot. And he does, right in the eye of De Rosa. 13 points for Venezuela. That's what they lead by. De Rosa. The block feed won't go down for Gomes. And that's the halftime break. So after the first half of play, Venezuela flipping the script, taking the lead. It's 46-33.
Well, it was a tough start for Venezuela, but eventually they got it going, and they got it going by playing some defense, forcing Cape Verde into some turnovers and being able to run the floor and get some easier baskets. And the other end, they just forced Cape Verde into really individual play, and it paid great dividends. Venezuela, look at the shooting stats, or excuse me, the assists going the way of Venezuela. And Zamora, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Gomes did his best for his 8 points, but 50% shooting in total for Venezuela, and 50% from the three-point line, as opposed to 35%, 12 of 14 for Cape Verde. And they started off strong from the three-point line. They were 5 of 10 at one stage, but they missed their last 5. They're now 5 of 15, 33%. Rebounds pretty even, and we take a look at the matchup, and pretty lopsided. The youngster, Gali Soho, as opposed to the veteran, who no points. The 6 boards, that's nice, but Walter Tavares is having some problems.
And you said when he plays for Real Madrid, it's a different role, but here with the national team for Cape Verde, it has to be part of the game plan to get him as many touches as possible.
Yeah, well, with Real Madrid, he still averaged 10 points a game in a much, much higher level of competition than we're seeing here. Now, the personnel he's got around him clearly is vastly different when he's playing for Real Madrid, but right here, I don't think they've made enough targets of him. Their system hasn't created any good looks, and his teammates have got to have a bit more faith in him to play through him and throw it to him. Get him involved, more so than just having him set screens and diving to the basket.
And Colmenares being able to get those second chance opportunities for Venezuela has been clutch. And you've got the guy that can drive and hit from downtown, just continuing to attack, in Gali Soho. Venezuela, good at finding the open guy. Churio.
Well, they've had some wide open looks. Yeah, they've had, Cape Verde have had their moments. And it's Will Tavares who's done some good things with his 3 of 4 from the field. But you're 3 of 4, but he's also not seeing. You've got a guy that's hot and not seeing it, so find a way to get their main guys going.
Yeah, Venezuela up by a baker's dozen here at the break.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are all on the same team.
We have the power to change lives through basketball.
Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin,
basketball
can bring everyone together.
Basketball for good.
Fournier, dumping down low, and how about that? And one by Rusele. And Latvia just not ready to defend the out-of-bounds play.
That's all it was.
Shot clock. How about that? What a game that man is having for Latvia. Number 55. Shot clock. Game clock, I should say. Tough shot. He gets it up, and it's good! As he is going to put France up 33-26 after 10. How about that?
And Lebanon in the first game, and it is through their defense, their offensive rebound, and all those things.
Welcome to the world, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. How easy does he make it look?
Too easy.
Mills looking for some help.
Give me a spell.
Wow.
Give me a smell!
He's got 13.
My goodness!
Oh, hello.
Good night.
Great pass. It's an easy pass, I guess, when you've got a guy like Markkanen with his size.
Kawamura shakes again, this time Kanturi, and he makes it in his eye! Japan, a 4-point lead, and this guy's got ice in his veins.
Oh, pump fakes the pass, goes in. Tries to go for the tip in. No good. Now Angola can push this. Down 5-3 off Fernando and Boa Norche. Good night. Fernando with no regard for the transition defense.
That was a vicious finish there from Fernando.
Haydar stayed down after that. You got a picture of him there, like he sort of rolled it.
Backdoor feed, Giddy. That shot always 100%.
Well, that was Drew Tiemann who went up with Giddy, and Giddy was still able to knock it down.
Way in the flush.
That is unbelievable. These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
Here we have a look at the top scorer for Cape Verde. Gomes coming in and doing some really good things as well in a difficult set of situation there for Jerome Gomes, but just needs a little help in the way in which they create shots. You can see this one, not too bad. Head fake gets the personnel flying by, but the quality of shots that they've been able to produce has made it difficult for him and some of his teammates. He's good enough to knock those two down, but he's only 2 of 7 from the field. Just been able to work his way to the free throw line as well, where he's 3 of 4.
And he was really big in that first quarter, but they figured him out, and that offense became a little stale. On the other end, Venezuela came alive with this young guy, Garly Soho, the 23-year-old shooting forward. He put 16 points up against Slovenia. He's more than halfway there now against Cape Verde.
It is, and look at the efficiency. 4 or 5 from the field for his 9 points. He's really athletic, active around the rim. Him and Zamora have been the leading scorers for Venezuela, but the quality of shot that Venezuela has been able to get far superior to what Cape Verde has been able to get. And they had 24 in the first half, Cape Verde, and only had only had 9 in the second. And there you look at the shot chart of Garly Soho and the work that he's doing, both at the rim and on the perimeter.
And this Venezuela squad, they walk in with a lot of chemistry, and something that Cape Verde does not quite have here at this level. This is their first ever World Cup appearance. They spent 2 weeks training at the Boston Celtics facility. And while this group has had some time together to prepare, it's been an uphill battle just to get to this opportunity. And for Coach Emmanuel Travada, it has been important to represent their country here on the world stage. And it's about going out and playing your best basketball.
Well, that's right. And the Venezuelan team, that they come into this one, despite the loss, it was against a high-quality team in Slovenia, and they didn't lose any admirers in the way in which they went about it. They were shooting the ball, and the way in which they got everyone involved. They had 5 players in double figures in that game one, led by Gali Soho with the 16. But when you've got others contributing around, that makes it a lot harder for the defense just to key in on 1 or 2 guys. There's so many different scoring options in the way they play. When they get out and run the floor, they look really explosive in the offensive transition. And in the half court, though, that they run some nice sets. They get their shooters open. The game's predicated around shooting the 3 ball, which most teams are. These days, they shot it at 40% in game one, and here again tonight, they're on fire, 7 of 14, 50%.
Good numbers, but there's still another half to play here. So, Andrew, as you look ahead, obviously we see Cape Verde, they're back out here early. They trail by 13. What does this group need to start doing to kind of close in on that lead?
Well, I don't think much has changed from when we saw that timeout, 3 or 4 minutes to go in the second. Just trying to figure out the balance between the ISO ball, get it to someone, let them create instinctively, do their thing, as opposed to the process that you want to go through to create a shot. And we've seen very little of the process. We watched these guys practice before the start of the tournament, and when they're going through it, they had a lot of sets that they run, but we haven't seen a whole lot of that here tonight. So it's not like it's not in their repertoire, it's just maybe getting caught up in the emotion of it all. Nice big crowd, what's at stake, and the intentions of the individual is great. The intention of the individual is to step up and carry some responsibility and get it done.
Some of the shot clock, I mean, how, you know, it's not fun going down and playing defense a whole lot, right? Your offensive time is some recovery window.
And when players don't get touches, so they're coming down and they might go 5 or 6 possessions where they don't even touch it, let alone shoot it. When it does eventually come their way, they feel like they've got to make a contribution. They feel like they've got to go in there, and I think that's what we're seeing is guys getting and saying, hey, I haven't touched this ball for all that much time, and I want to contribute. So then they go off on their own agenda. And against a team like Venezuela, who right now are packing it in, making it a little tougher to get to the rim, it's making it very difficult on the offensive end for Cape Verde.
If you're just joining us, we're in Okinawa, Japan. This is Group F play, Cape Verde and Venezuela. The winner, you got to win to keep your hopes alive in advancing to the second round of the World Cup. Despina Barn alongside FIBA Hall of Famer Andrew Gaze. He's also a 5-time Olympian. I'm so honored to share a booth with him.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Despina, keeping me honest, helping me along the journey.
And these guys are quite the journeymen. Cape Verde nearly missing its opportunity to compete in the World Cup. It was back in 2017 where their federation was not quite on their side, and since then they've changed over, and now they have the support they need. Made Afro Basket, dedicated resources, time, leadership to embracing basketball in this country, this small Western African nation of only 460,000 people. They're here on the world's biggest stage. Nearly 500,000?
560-odd thousand, that's where we're at. And they've made history. They are the country with the smallest population ever to qualify for a FIBA World Cup.
A feat in its own. And they've dedicated to this season, in this tournament, excuse me, to a former player, Wally Handode, who played with this group, and maybe right there, that's a good start by Gomes. But they dedicated this tournament to Wally Handode, who was training with them in Boston just a couple of weeks ago, and suddenly passed away due to heart complications. So a heavy heart here for Cape Verde as they compete. Soho shot, a miss, moving quickly up court, and we have some entanglement. Tavash on the floor.
Well, it needs to last, but that very first possession that we saw on the defensive end by Cape Verde is more what we got to see right throughout. Really intense, a lot of ball pressure. They need to be annoying to play against. They need to be up and in and stopping Venezuela from just the easy passing and the ease at which they can set up their shooters.
Almeida.
That's a hold.
And a foul going against Chorio. 9v9. Two early fouls here for Venezuela.
Chorio just got caught on the drive and just reached out, grabbed with two hands. A little entanglement. Not a lot in it, just a little one. So they send the big fella away to the elbow. Walter Tavash.
So the Almeida brothers are on the floor, the younger one with the ball right now. And even Almeida will go to the free throw line. That's a pretty incredible experience, playing on the national team with your brother, a family member.
I played in a team, my very first Olympics, played in a team with brothers on it, Mark and Brad Dalton. The Los Angeles Olympics, 1984. You probably weren't even born back then.
94?
84.
Nope, correct, I was not born yet.
So well, we were running around, we had a couple of brothers on the team. So it's not overly uncommon, because when you're growing up together and you're through those formative years, if you've got two siblings that spend a lot of time, they develop a love for the game, that they can push each other, help with the development of their skills.
Some pretty famous brothers here in Okinawa. We have the Wagner brothers on Team Germany.
Two of the greatest brothers is the Gasol brothers, Paul and Mark. There is a noticeable change the first couple of possessions in the defensive intensity of Cape Verde. And that's what they need to do. Can they maintain it? Can they keep those energy levels up?
William Tavares, running point for Cape Verde. Almeida down to the big guy, Tavares. Walter, here's the cutter, easy bunny.
Now that's exactly what I've been talking about. He's not always going to score, but you've got to respect him. And that time, Colmenares comes from the weak side for the double team. And it was the simple pass off for the big fella. Uncontested too.
Soho. Back to Gient. He's driving, dishing. Chorio. A miss. Rebound cleaned up by Tavares.
Jeez.
No whistle here. And it's going the other way.
Wow.
You thought we needed to hear one?
Well, Tavares down. Oh, see the double team comes, and on the weak side, just standing still and playing through the big fella. That's what we've been talking about, and how he can create shots for his teammates. The offense has been good, but the defense has been great. The first couple of minutes of the third for Cape Verde.
Soho shot by Ruiz, a miss from the free throw line. Soho keeps it alive. Wants it back, 3, deep, no. Put back, Colmenares.
Great work. Brought undone without collecting the rebound. Really good defense in the half court. And it's an area they should dominate more, but they're not. In fact, they trail that category right now, 21-23. Offensive foul. Again, this time it's Walter Tavares just trying to do a little too much. He moves. Look at the big fella. See there, just moving to the right. You're not allowed to do that. You've got to be stationary. It doesn't look like a whole lot in it, but you've got to find that balance, and then that makes it too hard for the defense if you're going to allow the screener to move.
Zamora, extra pass, Colmenares working around the horn. Yen slipping his man right off him. And Almeida comes for the rebound. To his brother, Even Almeida.
Again.
Tavares. Inside out. Gomsh.
Again, it's the big fella that gets the touch. Needed a bit of help, advice to throw it in there, but once it did go in there, the kick-out pass for the wide-open 3, good. Start to the third by Cape Verde.
Soho.
Oh.
And he's going to head to the free throw line. Coach Travada here. Having some extra words with the officiating crew.
So Almeida comes through. Yeah. Little hip to hip. Soho sells it. Puts a little mayo on it just to make sure the official knew that he'd got hit, but you've got to protect the shooter on those circumstances. Three ball. He's going to shoot 3. So it comes at a timely time for Venezuela because they're having all sorts of problems in the start of the third to get their offense going.
It's a 10-3 run for Cape Verde here in the third.
Soho plays in the Venezuela League. Broncos de Caracas, where he shoots it at 66% from the free throw line. Average 14 points a game in that league. I think a lot of these, as you come to appreciate, a lot of these players from Venezuela play in Venezuela.
2 for 3 for Soho. He has 11 points and another steal. Nope, can't hang on.
And this has been a characteristic of what Venezuela has done. I got to see them play 3 games in preparation for the World Cup, and they spend a lot of time on made baskets in their extended defense. Usually a 1-2, 1-1, sometimes a 2-2-1, but they like to get up and in after a made basket, particularly off a free throw.
Almeida behind the screen, hits it from downtown. Even Almeida now with 11 himself. Zamora, quick release, won't go.
Venezuela need to take out a leaf out of the Cape Verde book and up their intensity on the defensive end.
And I think both officials were calling this at the same time.
Well, I think they had a different way. One official overruled the other one. The baseline official had it on Gomsh for the offensive foul. Eventually it goes against Colmenares. He's the second personal foul. But it's the 4th team foul. So now this is where you've got to attack the rim. take advantage of the team being in the bonus.
And instead, they cough it up on this possession. But you're right, a lot of time here in the third quarter to be aware of the team fouls.
Doesn't mean you have to break out your normal action. You've just got to be more aggressive at attacking the defender and trying to draw some fouls.
Zamora, baseline, mid-range. And this is going to be a foul, I think, against even Almeida.
It is, on the shot. He didn't like it. Well on his finger, wanted his coach to review it. Let's have a look. Step back, it's only 2. Yeah, got him on the elbow. Good call. Real good call. You can't be doing that. No, you're wrong. You can wave your finger, but you got him. You got him on the elbow.
The second personal foul for Almeida, and now for Cape Verde, that's their 4th, and so we're in the same position on both sides. Jordan Zamora on the free throw line.
Really struggled in this quarter to score. That's only the 5th point for Venezuela in the quarter. It's been now it's a 13-6 quarter.
They led by 13 at the halftime break. Lead dwindled to 6. Almeida, one-on-one, likes his chances.
Choices. He's up to 14, 4 of 7. It's almost like they're prepared to concede him on that three-point line. He's earned enough respect now. You got to get up and in.
And then the pounce on defense, finished by Tabarsh, but that was instigated surely by even Almeida. And that's enough right there for Venezuela to take a timeout.
Good hands. Turning good aggressive defense into easy scoring opportunities in the transition.
Acá estamos viendo allá y acá lo hacemos un carajo. Queremos meter un triple cerca, nos defendemos. Lo seguimos mirando, lo seguimos mirando, lo seguimos mirando y el tipo sigue anotando. Ahora están los, escuchá, en los bloqueos esto, en los indirectos esto, están para cambiar y que no reciba Almeida, hombre. Prepárense para cambiar. Vamos muchachos, vamos.
So all Cape Verde here in the third quarter. Almeida and company clawing their way back into this game. It's a 1-point ball game, Andrew Gaze.
Yep, and just the insistence. When I say it's not an open invitation to score, to shoot it, but it's not as close checking as you'd normally expect. And I think now these knocked a few down. 4 of 6 from the three-point line. He's earned enough respect. You've got to be in and play him to make him a driver. Don't let him step back. And massive. They've lacked a spark. They had that 13-point lead at halftime and thought, oh, well, this looks like it's going to be a regulation win. Well, Cape Verde has had different ideas.
So back on the floor for Cape Verde is Walter Tabarsh. So the big man, Soho, with the handle. Forced to shoot, Carrera. And Zamora picking up Almeida here. The guy finishes on the left, unfazed. Almeida now with 16.
Defense is really poor for Venezuela at the minute.
And that's going to be the 5th team foul for Cape Verde.
Almeida just walked in there. Look at this. Carrera, no vision, just blows by him, actually gives him a nudge and says, get out of my way. I've got 2 points, I'm going to go get it. just standing around.
And that one right there gives Cape Verde the lead.
Gee, what a turnaround. 20-6 in this third. And I can understand why coach is having a conniption on the sideline. Coach Jura upset, as he should be. Where's the fire in the belly? Where's the spark that we saw from Venezuela in the second? They've left it in the locker room at halftime.
Well, this is kind of starting off as it did in the first quarter. Venezuela was on a lull to open up this contest. In fact, Cape Verde went up by 9. It seems after that halftime break, we're just where we started at the beginning of this thing.
Spot on. That is an excellent call. It does. What's happened here in the third is almost a carbon copy. In fact, it's probably a little worse than what we saw in the first from Venezuela. And they change it up. Have a look there. Going to a zone defense. They're trying to mix it up. Break this momentum that we've seen from Cape Verde. Oh no, they just showed zone. And eventually got back into a man.
And Tabash now will head to the free throw line to take 2.
Almost confused themselves. It's not uncommon to see teams they'll start in the zone. It might usually there's a signal. It might be 2, sometimes 3 on the third pass. We'll match up with whoever we've got. They'll mix it up like that. But that one there, they just showed zone. And on the first pass, they just went to a man-to-man and out-tricked themselves.
William Tavares, the 28-year-old, hits the first one. He's been the main distributor here today. Mandarin being smothered. Kubian driving, looking for help, finds himself open on the baseline. Why not? 2 for Kubian. Almeida to Gomes. 3. That one looked pretty from downtown. Gomes. Carrera, you know, he found himself open.
Well, that was one that they were inviting him to shoot. You saw him with the head fake, looked around. Michael Carrera, it's 0 of 5 from the field. There's the, on the other end, 3 ball, knocked down. Michael Carrera, 0 of 5. When you're 0 of 4, as he was before that, to take a shot where you're 1.5 meters behind the 3-point line, even though you're open, there might be a reason why you're open from there.
It's interesting because that's the way Cape Verde was playing at the end of the second.
Yeah, exactly.
Picking up some of those bad habit tendencies. We're going to try and listen in here.
Não podemos parar de defender. Enquanto não tivermos a bola, ninguém para, João. Continua. Ok. Stop. Ei, vamos ter de ser inteligentes agora. Ainda agora chamei o Ivan. Eles já estão em bônus, já estão em lance livre. Vamos deixá-los, mas isto é uma falta normal. Vamos, então pronto, continuamos focados. Box alto, continuamos a insistir nas trocas. 22 com aquela saída. Se o Ivan sai por aqui, não se esqueçam. Joel, sai por aqui. Não sai de riba. Sai. Agora fica.
So what a quarter for Cape Verde. Down by 13 at the half. The captain right here, Eamon Almeida, having his way on offense. 16 points. And a spark plug for Cape Verde as they've marched back to take the lead here, 57-56.
Even Almeida, he's one of the ones that plays and has played in different places, currently playing his basketball in Portugal.
On the free throw line as we return to action is Nestor Colmenares.
And that, the youngsters out there watching, That's not technical technique either. Not a lot of extension follow through. Very flat line drive. Need to get more arc. Hands need to be higher. Colmenares comes up empty.
Venezuela now picking up full court.
They need to do what Cape Verde did at halftime and hope after that timeout, the chat needed to focus on what they're going to do on this end of the floor.
For the shoot, Almeida with the ball. Getting some treble there is Colmenares for three. It's a miss. Almeida for his own rebound. And the composure. Two more for Almeida.
There's going to be a flop warning as well on Michael Carrera.
Kubian to the corner. Zamara squares up. Nothing but net.
He's looked the most reliable on the offensive end. 4 of 6, 14 points now for Zamara.
59 all.
There has been a change. Certainly there's been a response from Venezuela. They didn't get the rebound. There's the flop warning. So Michael Carrera, only a glancing blow, and he went down, and there's an thing. So if he, or there's another flop, it'll be an automatic technical foul.
Coach Travada loves what he's seeing out of his guys.
He should. He responded, whatever messages were. Sure, it was a focus on the defense. They have responded. As led by this man. Five boards, a couple of steals, a couple of assists to go along with his 18 points.
He misses both there. Venezuela looking down court. Kubian through the gut, come and stop me. Almeida trying to shake Soho. Picks up his dribble, gets it back. How about a wing look here? Off for Mendoza. Kubian shifty. That pass intended for Carrera. He sticks with it, waits for his man to jump over him.
Oh, and it's straight away, there's an unsportsmanlike. And that'd be because he would have deemed it excessive contact, I would assume. Let's have a look at the replay. That's with the foot, the kick to the head. Certainly no intentions of that. It was inadvertent, but nevertheless.
No, palm fake and then hit him in the face. No. He lost the ball. He lost the ball going down.
They just heard the explanation. He kicked him in the face. It's as simple as that. Even though that wasn't intended.
And so you're looking at Michael Carrera, the 30-year-old on the free throw line. His team up by 2 points. He will get to shoot 2. And Venezuela then will be awarded the possession for the unsportsmanlike call.
Yeah. Cape Verde's lead was finally hit the front. It was only for a short period of time. Venezuela now just seem to have regrouped the last couple of possessions. We get the scoreboard ticking over. But he's still been outscored in this quarter, 26-17. So good quarter by Cape Verde.
Three seconds to shoot. Carrera. That's the first one from the field for Carrera. He's at the last 5 for Venezuela. No time like the present. Tavash looking for some help.
Didn't get it off.
And nothing there. So the third quarter comes to a close. Venezuela pushes their lead. It's by 7, 66-59.
Well, the frantic helter-skelter pressure defense served its purpose for the vast majority of that quarter, but the last 3 minutes, Venezuela found a combination that was able to weather that. Just show a bit of patience and be able to pick them off. And I think a lot of credit too, those last few minutes. David Kubian was a significant factor in that. I thought he did a really good job on both ends of the floor. Look at the stats, and as you can expect in this quarter, at the very least, going the way of Cape Verde. And early on, they learned you can't go underneath the screens on
Even
Almeida. He was lighting it up. Ended up with 18 points in the quarter. And their pressure defense led to plays like that, where they were getting some turnovers and pushing the floor, taking advantage of it. But it was that man, even Almeida, that was the main culprit on the offensive end. Jordan Zamora, he did a good, and finally, Michael Carrera got himself going in a 5-point possession. The 2 from the free throw line, then knocks down the 3 because of the unsportsmanlike.
Go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen. Make sure you have that courtside 1891 app. Final 10 minutes, Andrew Gaze. These two teams have been mirroring each other. Who wins out and why?
Well, right now, advantage Venezuela. When Cape Verde got their nose in front, they weren't able to sustain it. And change up of the combinations for Venezuela, they were able to just calm down and work their way through that helter-skelter defense that Cape Verde was dishing up. And this man on the screen, Kubian, he's been influential in that third.
Samara off the screen, no look pass to his buddy Maturin.
Big shot.
So Maturin's 3 pushes it to 10. Tavares, nice little windmill lay-in. More importantly, an answer. Kubian, Carrera on the block, a miss. Tavares looking down court. He'll call his own number, and why not? He's feeling hot.
And they decide to go underneath with screens, and they're good enough to make them pay.
Zamora, Carrera wants to take it in a little bit closer. He's covered up. Stays on the ground. And a foul by Maturin will stop the game.
Carrera crashed to the floor, and he is signaling to the bench that something's happened, something significant. Not sure what it was. It was a bad shot that he took, In fact, it was back-to-back bad shots that he took. He just glides in, and I'm not sure. There's nothing twisting, and that's not a good sign. Hopefully it's not something with the knee. Straight away, he felt something in his leg. Didn't see anything.
He's putting limited pressure. Yep, his team's gonna help lift him off.
Yeah, you're always worried about those ones where you don't see an explanation as to why someone might have got hurt. Something internally has happened. Hobbles off now.
He's going to get some medical attention here.
Something in the groin.
Okay.
Looks like.
And we'll continue play here. Tavares, elbow shot. Kubian pushing the tempo. This time, step up three. Inside feed here to Tavares. And some checking through the lane. This one going to be called against Mataran.
Tavares still yet to score in this contest. Only had 3. Got 10 boards though. Cape Verde actually winning that category.
Tavares on the block, trying to get the ball up. And he'll head to the free throw line. But strange for a big man to need to dribble down, that low to get that momentum.
Yeah, just had to gather himself. I don't think he had complete control of the ball, and they're hacking and whacking when he gets it in there, and just trying to gather a little bit of momentum. Decent for a big man. Shoots at 69% from Madrid last season, Real Madrid. Played the past 6 seasons there. Spent some time with the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's won, 2-time EuroLeague champion in 2018 and 2023. EuroLeague all-time blocks leader. And EuroLeague Final 4 MVP in just this year. So in the EuroLeague Finals, playing for Real Madrid, he was in the championship winning team, regarded as the MVP. That's why it's a little hard to see how he's only got a couple of points in this one.
You said the supporting cast very different. Soho here trying to scramble. So Colmenares takes a breather. Ruiz on the floor for him. Fidel Mendoza, the feed to Tavares. Take away. Good hands, Zamora. No, they get it back. 3-shot up and in. Fidel Mendoza. By the way, Mendoza, the oldest player to make his World Cup debut in the last 35 years.
Wow.
He's 39. Mataran saves it for the other team. Tavares, open court, put back, no, a miss. Staying with it there is Mensch.
Wow. Opportunity there that goes begging. Had a couple of cracks at it. Eventually Zamora is with the foul. Coming from behind. And Venezuela, just when you thought they'd gained control of the game, Cape Verde, they will not go away. Chance to take the lead with these 2 free throws.
Venezuela's timeout.
Tenemos que te insistí 2 o 3 veces con Heider para que juegue el pick and roll con Miguel. Insista para que nos genere espacio. Pero no tiremos a mierda, ¿no?
Están jugando para Tavares, están haciendo para Tavares en ataque.
Tavares es al dribbling. Ahí,
Cape Verde, the pesky team that will not go away. 7 minutes to play. These teams are fighting to stay alive in FIBA World Cup action. Venezuela out in front by 1. And so far, Venezuela has carried a 13-point lead. That was their largest. We've seen 9 lead changes in this contest.
The bulk of it just sensed that Venezuela had the advantage outside, of course, the start where Cape Verde got the jump on them in the first quarter, led by as many as 8. Similar to what we saw with Japan last night against Finland. Finland led it by 18 in the third. And Japan, with just a remarkable last quarter, caused one of the upsets of the tournament in one of the most spectacular environments for a basketball game that I've ever seen. And I've seen quite a few.
The energy from a sellout crowd and a home nation getting their first ever victory over a European squad. And not only that, but now they have their destiny in their own hands.
Arte Mitch comes up, misses 2 free throws, gets subbed out of the game. Free throws can become so important. And Cape Verde have had their problems, 9 of 16. So they've left 7 points out on the floor. 56% from the free throw line, as opposed to 15 of 20 for Venezuela, 75%.
Again, the feed was intended for Ruiz, knocked away. How about another for Mendoza? No, it's short.
That was a bad shot. Really bad.
And then a collision on the other end. A blocking foul against Mendoza.
Had Walter Tavares down low. And instead they throw up a prayer. That's just flashing of the knees. Little stingers that hurt right now. You walk it off, you think everything's okay, you wake up the next morning and it hurts even more. You saw Michael Carrera, good to see him on the bench. Looks like he's in reasonable spirits. Saw him walking behind the bench, so perhaps not as severe as we first thought.
Soho looking like he is okay. Stays on the floor after the knee clash. Here comes the pressure D. Guillen with the ball. Traffic there, fade away, throws it up. A Hail Mary. Last touch by Ruiz. A heavenly gift here for Cape Verde.
The Leeds coach has a challenge that you can use. One of them like to keep it in their pocket just in case that close games, those last minutes, like a lot of leagues in the world, that you've got a challenge, but you can use your challenge at any stage. But even if you win your challenge, you only get one challenge.
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all. If you win the challenge, you should keep it, I would have thought.
You get a reward for good judgment, right?
That's right. Now in some leagues, like NBL in Australia, but they do reward that, but you do get it right. You don't. You keep your challenge. Good play. Zamora.
And we're going to see Walter Tavares go to the free throw line as we're in the bonus.
This is a big man, 221 centimeters tall. Just made his last couple of free throws. Oh.
Misses that one there. He's 2 for 3, 67% on the day. A big inhale and a big exhale, and both are
the team are now 9 of 18 free throws becoming an issue for Cape Verde.
Kubion sees part. No, blocked there. What'd you tell us earlier? Tavares was the EuroLeague leading
time.
blocker?
All time.
All time. Okay. Ball tipped out. Courtesy Gient. He will pull up a 3, thinking that was going in. How about the wing? Kubion this time. And the way Venezuela is playing, unconventional.
But it's a huge defensive breakdown. There was plenty of time for someone to match up on Kubion, and they just got stunned. And down this end of the floor, too much getting back to what we saw in the second period, where there was just not a lot of movement, and the movement you see is slow and too much dribbling.
Tavares on the reverse.
By the time they get there, there was a pretty stagnant offensive set.
2-point advantage for Venezuela. Gient, Zamora. That one was disrupted by Lima. And William Tavares calling out the offense for Cape Verde. Gomes backing down.
Flop. That's a tech. They already had their warning. And there's little doubt about it. Motoran there, he took the first bounce bump, and then he thought, well, hang on, I just can't let him back down. Not a lot of contact, and he flops. So this is now 1 shot and possession on the tech. So you only get 1, you don't get 2 on the tech for the flop, or any tech for that matter.
So Jerome Gomes will put it down.
They get another 14 seconds and they get possession. Pick up play. Expensive flop.
20 points for Gomes here for Cape Verde. They trail by 1 and have the ball.
It's nice to see Soho still on the bench, and the big fella underneath out of bounds play, they get it to him. He thought he got fouled, but he stuffs it in with the 2 hands, and they take the lead.
The fans picking up their presence. Kubion with the ball. Shaking and baking. Ruiz misses an open court. And Cape Verde walks up court. Spreading things out here. Going baseline is Gomes. He's staying down there, extra long spin. Will kick it. Forced to throw it up as there's a shot clock violation.
Well, they just went to a 1-pass offense. They just threw it into Jerome Gomes down low. And everyone just standing around. Standing around, and really good defense that time by Colmenares to stop Gomes. Forced him into a terrible shot.
Trurio picks up his dribble, gets it back, top of the key, nothing there.
Shot it well from the 3-point line for most of the game. That time, though, the last few possessions, they're just blazing away from the perimeter.
Tavares sticking with it. He's got his other teammate, Walter Tavares, fighting to put it back up. And the foul and entanglement, Miguel Ruiz.
See the size differential between the two when he gets it there. There was this underneath out of bounds play. They set a screen for him, and he had a good claim. Potentially, it looked like he got hit in the back of the head. You see the excitement, the Cape Verde fans and the bench, is they can smell an upset.
And Ruiz will have to take a seat. That's his 4th personal. By the way, Colmenera is on the floor also with 4.
Well, virtually forced a foul on that there that conceded the dunk or foul. So at this stage of the game, probably the right option, given that Walter Tavares had just missed a couple of free throw on a few possessions ago. Makes the first one here.
Can you believe it, Andrew? That bucket off the inbound, his first field goal of the game.
He hasn't had many. He's only had 4 field goal attempts. He's had 6 free throws, 4 of 6. None more important than those past 2.
So Cape Verde with a 3-point lead, 2.5 to play here in the 4th quarter. Gant stripped away. William Tavares just playing some really lockdown defense. Gant with the poor pass. An untimely turnover for Venezuela. And a foul handed over by Soho. And we will soon see even Almeida take the free throw line. Almeida, by the way, 18 points.
He's only 2 of 4 from the free throw line.
No time like the present to beef up that percentage.
As a coach, you're trying to balance what you need on the offensive end as opposed to your defensive end, and there's a missed free throw. And Venezuela, I'd be giving strong consideration to getting Zamora back out there as well. He's got the 14 points. And more importantly, he's 4 of 7 from the three-point line. And he missed them both. So he's missed 4 in a row.
The Yips. So Kubian and company here for Venezuela trailing. He decides to pull the trigger, and he felt it from the go.
Kubian has been huge in the second half.
75 all. Almeida confused.
Yeah, he felt he had his pivot foot down. Refs thought that he must have been sliding it. His lead foot was certainly pivoting. He does have a challenge available, but he decides not to use it. It did look like there was too many steps.
And let's see if Venezuela here can take the lead. Beyond, holding composure. Soho driving. Too high on the glass. Lima, a kick. Cape Verde in the easy lay, and William Tavares from the left with the right. Pounding the floor.
Decide not to take a timeout. They've still got 2 left. Decides that he wants to keep them both. Important possession coming up right now. Cape Verde fans on their feet.
The end being covered here by Lima. And this one off
Terrible shot.
And it doesn't matter. They're going to get another chance here as it was last touched by Almeida.
Just couldn't handle it. Almeida, I don't think he realized he was going to miss that badly. Just skimmed the rim, caught him off guard, fumbled it.
Walter Tavares all fired up. Kubian in the corner, lets it rip, in and out. Rebound covered by Cape Verde.
They don't need to foul Venezuela, they need to stop.
2-point game, Cape Verde with the ball. 10 on the shot clock.
A lot of contact, they didn't need that. Only 7 seconds left, and there was some coverage. The reach from behind by Guillen. Have a look at the penetration. This is the go-ahead basket. Just powers his way. Kubian doesn't have the size to match it with Tavares. Tavares goes to the line.
And I will tell you what, he has probably been the most impressive for me in this contest. William Tavares, running point, staying calm, lighting it up on defense. He knows with a made shot here, things look a little bit clearer.
You're in a commanding position, it becomes even more difficult. There's still no timeout.
Ice in his veins. Makes it a 2-possession game, and there's a timeout called.
Now they need this one because the clock's the issue. So this timeout will enable them to advance the ball. They'll put it in their front court and draw up a play.
No hay nada. Acá está parado Verde. No hay nada. Materano puede tirar, va mano en mano y bloquear de Heiler para que tenga forma de tiro simplemente. 3 puntos y uno de cabeza al foul. Acá 3 puntos y uno de cabeza al foul.
Andrew, if you're drawing up the play, who gets this touch for Venezuela?
Well, it's a tough one right now because what you want to have is you want to have an action for a 3, but don't ignore the quick 2. And Soho's probably the guy that you're going to be looking at. A quick 2, a quick score is most important. And coming out and just blazing away and taking a bad 3, that is not necessary right now. Don't need to do that. You've still got a bit of time to play with, and you can play the free throw game. Now, obviously, a 3-ball would be helpful, and you want to draw something up to give that a look. But if not, if something easier presents at the rim, the quick 2 is not a bad option either. But whatever it is, it's got to be quick.
So Guillen here to inbound. Almeida in front of him. The ball to Mataron. The 3, it's off its mark. Gobbled up is the rebound by Gomes. And he will head to the free throw line as Venezuela is forced to foul.
And Venezuela got a really good look. Baton that time wide open, so good execution on the play. Their heads and their body language of Venezuela does not look good. She's 4 or 5 in the contest so far from the free throw line.
And a beautiful stroke there and a kiss to the fans.
Venezuela are all out of timeouts now. They used their last one.
.22 points for Gomes.
And you do need a 3.
And a comeback nearly complete for Cape Verde. Kubian with the ball. Soho driving, step back. His toes behind the line. And Guillen will step out of bounds.
Well, The country with the smallest population ever to feature in a World Cup tournament gets their first ever win. Emotional scenes on the sidelines with the players and the fans.
What a moment. A historic evening for Cape Verde here in Okinawa, Japan. The fans traveled very far to be here, and they were rewarded with the team's very first World Cup victory. Andrew, an unlikely path here for Cape Verde. This was a nation and a federation nearly missed the Afrobasket tournament in 2017, did not have the support of their federation. Since then, the tide completely changed. They fought and clawed their way to earn a spot in the World Cup, and with the entire backing of the nation behind them.
And Walter Tavares, we've been talking a lot about his offense. He's got 6 points and only the one field goal, 1 of 4, but what he does have, he's got 15 boards. So he's owned the glass for Cape Verde.
So 5.6 seconds until this one is over. And Cape Verde is going to get one more final shot up. And congratulations, Coach Emmanuel Travada, Walter Tavares. Cape Verde, this Western African nation, gets their very first World Cup victory here in Okinawa. The final score, 81-75. They clawed back from a 13-point deficit, Andrew Gaze. They showed us that they have the fight, and they made it.
Well, they did it with their defense in that third period. They came out from the halftime break with that deficit and really cranked it up. It was very disruptive. They turned their defense into offense, picked up some cheap baskets, and then, most importantly, were able to knock down some shots. They shot at 46% from the field. And got a number of big contributions from players, but it was Will Tavares with the 20 points, 8 of 14 from the field, that led their way. And love the emotional scenes, the excitement from the Cape Verde team and their fans. See how much it means to them. This is a country, 560,000 people. And here they are winning games at World Cup. Who would have thought?
An emotional run, too, as they've dedicated their play here in Okinawa to a former player who they just recently lost. Wally Hanude is certainly enjoying the victory from up above. What a win and what a comeback for Cape Verde.
Well, the numbers, you have a look at them, they never shot the ball well from the free throw line, but it's a vast contrast of when you see shots go down from the three-point line. Problems from free throws, really good from the three-point line. We take a look at the leading scorers. Goupion was really important in that second half in particular. Gomes comes up big with the 22 points. And as we mentioned, Will Tavares with the 20. Almeida, he also was influential with 18.
And so now, Andrew, the road ahead for Cape Verde, they will play Slovenia in their final group play. What do they need to do here?
Well, this is an exceptional win, and they've got to be able to regroup. It's going to be a lot tougher against Slovenia, in arguably one of the top players in the world in Luka Doncic that they have to contend with. But after this win, they've played themselves into a situation. They beat Slovenia and they can advance. Now, the odds of that happening are pretty remote, but nevertheless, they have a chance.
Cape Verde earning their first ever World Cup victory in their first appearance here in the games, upsetting Venezuela. A contest that came down to the wire.
The players are over in the fans. It's celebrating with the fans. It's a magnificent sight here. And that was a really important play. Late in the fourth by Walter Tavares, who thought he was fouled. That big underneath out of bounds play. Once they got momentum, it's tough for Venezuela. As I mentioned, Kubian with his 15 points, battled to keep his team in it, but all the momentum and spirit was with Cape Verde this evening.
And meanwhile, for Venezuela, they're down 0-2, so their chances of advancing are now depleted. They will go on to the classification round as they move forward here in Okinawa for Cape Verde. And for this man, Emmanuel Travada, they still have a chance.
Look at him. The joy, the emotion. Go ahead and enjoy it. You've earned it.
A moment that this team will never forget. Congratulations to Cape Verde. Here's a look at the standings here in Group F. Of course, coming up tonight, Slovenia and Georgia, the two unbeatens going toe-to-toe. But right now, it's all Cape Verde and their moment on the world stage. For Andrew Gaze, I'm Despina Barton. Congratulations. Cape Verde wins this one. Final score 81-75.